Hey, what's up everyone, known as geeks. This is my second version of my computer upgraded. I have upgraded pretty big. Not too big for those of you who are huge upgraders for your computers, you know. Yeah, so I changed the motherboard, CPU, and cooling and surround sound card. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you is my case. I'm going to review my case. My case is an nzxt Phantom. It's the first edition. It's not the second edition. Second edition has a light up trim right here, so it turns on. I believe it turns on. I know it has color, but I'm not too sure if it turns on. That would be cool if they did it to this computer right here, to the first edition. It would be nice, but since they didn't do that, or they might do that, I'm not too sure. But I prefer the first one over the second one. Okay, so this case is a full actually it's an extended full ATX case, so you can put an extended motherboard in there if you wanted to. It has lots of space. It's really big. It's long. It's just a overall great case. It's awesome cooling. I just love it. I don't think I'll ever switch over to another case. I don't think I would. So down here you got your 140 millimeter fan. It's really dirty. I forgot to clean that. You could also put a 120 millimeter. It has the holes for it. That cools everything. So it goes. The hard drives are like in this section right here. So all the air would go into there, and it goes into the computer and cools all the hard drives that are in there, and as well the side. Right here I got a Blu-ray drive. It just reads Blu-rays and writes the DVDs and CDs. This one I don't use. It's just a DVD and CD burner. That's it. I don't use it. Just have it there because I don't have the front plate for it. So let's look at the top. This is my power button, and this is my reset button. This is eSATA or eSATA, whatever you guys want to say it. However you guys want to say it. So basically, this gives you faster transfer read and write speed. For portable hard drives, you could have, like, for example, an external case and put like a laptop hard drive inside there, and you could use it to do transfers on this. So I believe that in real time, the highest I've gotten was 80 megs per second real time. So as you see it on the screen, that's what it looks. That's what it is. So I'm not too sure how it's broken down. I can't remember how it's broken down correctly, but a lot of the externals you would have to connect the eSATA here and then the USB to power it on. If not, the external already has its own power, and you just this is for data only. And these are USB 2.0. So yeah, this is eSATA is just basically the SATA that's inside the motherboard. You know, you connect your computers to, or your hard drives to. That's pretty much what it is. That's it. Yeah, and so up here you got your 200 millimeter fans. They're both performance fans by nzxt. Sorry, it just got on my mind today. Yeah, so they're both performance fans. None of them are the regular fans that came with the computer. I upgraded them both, so they go about 2,000 RPMs for 200 millimeter. Yeah, they're fast. I believe they're the fastest right now out in the market. Because so far I've seen 200 millimeter fans only go 800. So these things kick in a lot of speed and a lot of air, lots of air. So that's why I love those 200 millimeter fans. Over here you got your switches for your fans, just when you want to cool your computer down even more. So this is your front fan. This is your side fans. Two side fans. You could show it, two side fans. These two side fans cool the hard drives down. So it gives it better cooling, and it provides more air into the case. This one is for the 200 millimeter or 240 millimeter on the side of the case. This one is for the top two fans I just showed you, and this is for the back. These switches kind of suck because they don't really work well. They do, but over time, as you keep using them, I had this case for at least a year and a half. And they do work, but every once in a while you hear these two fans or one of these fans just kick in and speed. I'm like, what the heck? Why is it doing that? So I have to kind of like move it up a little bit and then move it down. If not, push down a little bit and up. There's nothing wrong with the pressure. Sometimes I just push it and it starts working correctly. It goes back to its normal speed. These fans kind of make noise because they're performance, and they wobble. They make like a vibrating noise, like type of noise. I don't like it, but to the point I've already ignored it, and my brain doesn't hear it anymore. But there are times that I do hear it. I'm like, oh, this is annoying. So yeah. Anyways, let's look at the back. Yeah, so this is my giant heatsink cooler. It's a Thermaltake Silver Arrow, and it's better than the H70, H100. Actually, everything by Corsair, they're cooling. I don't think the latest one. I think it's like this doesn't beat it by like 3 degrees, but it's still better for air cooling. Way better. Down here you got your, what do you call it, 120 millimeter fans that blows in and cools the computer and the hard drives. Yeah, it's dirty. I'm sorry. I know it's embarrassing, but I don't have time to clean it right now. I just did a quick clean, and I'm like, oh, okay, I need to take those plates off and the fans, and it's a lot of work, and I don't have time to do it. So I'm just gonna go as much as possible and in detail as much as possible. So this is your 120 millimeter fan that pushes the air out. It sucks the air from inside and then blows it out. So to have their push and pull effect. So push is in the front for the 140 mil, and this is your pull. I think I got it correctly. Yeah. So this is your liquid cooling. I wanted to do liquid cooling with this computer so badly, but they don't have a liquid cooling specifically for this computer. You would have to buy the pieces in order to get yourself liquid cooling for this computer, and I don't want to buy it in all pieces. I just want to buy it in one whole kit. And I've seen one out there. It looks decent, but it has its reviews, and it's in between 50-50. It's good and it's bad. So up here you got your PS2 ports, mouse and keyboard. These are the old stock connections, traditional. You got your clear CMOS right here. Clear CMOS is basically if instead of going inside your computer and you want to remove your battery or whatever, you want to clear your CMOS, you don't have to do it from inside there. It's right here. You can do it right here just by pushing the button, and it clears everything and just does factory settings. Here you got your digital connection for surround sound for like Dolby Digital or DTS, and then here you get your SPDIF. No, this is SPDIF and this is coaxial. They're both basically the same. People say that one is better than the other. To me, that's the same shit. And you got your other eSATA ports. These are totally different on chipsets. This one up here, this one is all directly connected to a SATA port on the motherboard itself. So I get good transfer speeds, like 100%. So it's really good. But down here, I kind of had problems with these. You need a special drivers for that to make it work, because when I tried it, I had problems trying to connect an eSATA connection here. So you got eSATA. They're USB as well. You can use USB on these. These are USB 2.0, and these are right here 3.0. You got your Ethernet right here, and you got your surround sound. And down here, I got my Creative Sound Blaster X5 Platinum HD sound card, and down here I got my 6950 2GB HIS card. Works beautifully, and it has its problems, but it just works great. And down here you got your Kingwin 1000 watt power supply. So let's open this baby up and show you what the guts look like. For those of you geeks, be prepared to have a nosebleed. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah. So, okay. So here you got the giant Thermaltake Silver Arrow. Thermaltake Silver Arrow cooler. I got this baby for $100, I think. Yeah, I had a fan right here. It was a Sharks fan. But it looked kind of ghetto, so I just took it off. I just had some giant wood screws in there. It looked ghetto, so I just took it out. I was looking online to buy another fan, and I actually wanted to replace them with these fans right here. Look, I'm just gonna show you. This is a Shark's AeroCool fan. AeroCool Shark fan. It's a really good fan. It has 15 blades on it. It pushes and pulls lots of air. Good, better than most fans out there. They're pretty quick. They're silent. When I turn these fans on, it sounds like an actual mini turbine from like a plane. It's low. You can't hear it, but when you put it full blast, it sounds pretty cool. Like I just love the way it sounds. Yeah. So you can see I had the screws. I just took it out. It looks way too ghetto. But yeah. Online they were charging me the clip, this clip right here. They were charging this clip right here for $100 and not $100. Total was like $80. I think, I can't remember. Yeah, but total was $80. As you can see, this freaking clip comes out really easy. I don't know why they did it with this design. So this is basically your screws right here. Your screws go right here. It goes into the holes and it keeps the fan in right here. It just keeps it from moving. I don't understand why they did that. I guess because the way it's inside, but they could have had a better design if they had one long screw going into the other, holding it there, like from this fan to this fan, and then from, oh, I guess one giant one going across like that. You could do that, but I guess they didn't like it. Whatever, I don't care. As long as it does what I need it to do, basically cool my CPU down like crazy. Yeah, this computer, I love this computer, but there's just times that like I just want to get something different. But in my current situation, I cannot, so I have to stick with what I got now. So right here you got your actually, let me go back to the CPU. The CPU, the cooling, it does an extremely well job. I had a 925 Geneb Phenom 2 processor. It was 2.8 gigahertz. I have overclocked it a couple of times to see how high it could go. I've actually gotten it to 3.6 gigahertz using cooling, or just stock cooling. I think it was this. I can't remember if it was. But yeah, it was running really well. The Celsius, not overclocked, was 2.8 gigahertz, not overclocked, was 29 Celsius around Christmas time, or 25 Celsius around Christmas time idle. And when it got towards like not Christmas time, like around November this time, it would get be like, yeah, around 28 to 30 Celsius. And when it would get like around December, middle of December, when it gets really cold and outside is like 40 Celsius, it would be about 15 to 10 Celsius. Mostly at 15. I know you don't believe me, but this thing is extreme beast of cooling your CPU. It does a well job. Extremely well job. It's better than the Noctua. I can't remember. It's a Noctua company, I think is what it's called. I'm not too sure. But yeah, it does extremely well job. It's better than the H70, H60, 80, and I think there's a 90. But it doesn't do better than the ones that have two 120mm fans. The long radiator, it doesn't cool better. That one's cooled better than this one. I think like by 3 degrees or something like that. Yeah, so I got the processor in here. I got is the AMD FX 4170 Bulldozer processor. Yeah, the Bulldozer. I'm not too sure if it's the pile driver. I don't think it's the pile driver. Or yeah, Bulldozer. No, it's just a regular one. It's at 4.2 gigahertz with 12 megabyte cache. It's not overclocked. I don't plan to overclock it because this thing is a beast. The processor is a beast. I don't need to overclock it. It runs fast enough. I could overclock it to 5.8 using air cool, but I decided not to because I don't want to overclock this processor because it runs hot. The processor runs hot as it is, but the cores are very cool. This processor is great. It's fast. I don't have anything that's bottlenecking in here. I didn't have any problems other than I had to go inside the motherboard and I had to change the voltage on the motherboard to 1.0 141 in order to keep the computer from crashing, because when it does an auto, the motherboard didn't give it the correct voltage. So at 141 it works perfectly. I didn't overclock it, nothing. It just works perfectly. I don't ever get shutdowns, nothing. This processor is a huge power hog. It's just massive power hog. If you're gonna ever get this processor, make sure you have a really good power supply and a good motherboard to support this processor. Because if you don't have a good motherboard that supports its wattage, I think it's 125 or if not 150 wattage power processor, and you put it on the motherboard, you're gonna have complications like crazy. So yeah, make sure you get yourself a great power supply and a good motherboard. This motherboard is MSI 990FX GD80. It's the first edition. It's not the revived version. I could get the revived versions, but I'm not going to. I believe I'm going to just switch over to the APUs or processor. The PAL driver? Yeah, I believe it's a PAL driver. Someone after the bulldozer. I'm going to get the A10 series, the one that's overclocked, or the one that's clocked at 3.8 gigahertz or 3.6. And it has a built-in 7000 series graphics card, so it's pretty beast of a processor and motherboards combination. I've heard those things do not have any problems whatsoever. None. Zero. There are so many great reviews with those boards. I just want to just go with those fast as I can, but I just don't have the moolah for it, so I don't have the frog skin or nothing. So this is enough about the processor, the motherboard, and the cooling. So this is the Creative Sound Blaster XY Platinum HD series graphics card or sound card. It does all the audio that you want it to do. This connection right here goes up to the top where my headphones are at, where you connect your headphones. Works wonderful. I love this card. It works great, but I don't think if they made any sound cards better than this one, it's not going to be any better, because you can only go so high with sound, because the human ear can only hear certain frequencies and stuff like that, so they can't make it any better whatsoever. They can't make the bass, the high, the trebles, the medium voice volumes. They can't make it any better than what it is now. Even the previous sound cards are just the same as this, except that these things just have better features. Like this one is fully DTS and Adobe Digital enabled 100%. So if your games support it, then this card will support it. Yeah, so I got that off of eBay for $80 used. It was a beast. It was a great processor, or a great sound card. I'm surprised that the person said it was new, but they opened it up to test it out, so that's why they were selling it for $80. I was like, this is a steal, so I'm gonna get it, and I haven't had problems ever since. This is my 6950 HIS 2GB graphics card. I had problems in the past and stuff like that with it. Like the fan doesn't want to speed up while gaming. It sucked. I hated it when it did that, because every time I play Battlefield 3, it would say the AMD display driver has crashed or something like that, and now hasn't been recovered. So I'm like, oh, what the heck? What's going on? And I tried to figure out what it was. So when I did that, when I figured out that there was overheating, it was about 115 Celsius. My graphics, I'm like, holy crap! And I thought it was gonna burn out because it was so hot, but it didn't burn out. So this is how good construction quality this graphics card is made out of. Good stuff. So I'm not too sure what the hottest temperature these cards can support, but I don't want to ever to see it go up to 100 and I think it was 110 Celsius, if not 105. I'm gonna say 110. So yeah, this graphics card has two onboard BIOS switches. You can see right there. See, this is number 1, and this is 2. I have it on number 1. I did flash it at one time, but I flashed it to a 6970. I didn't get any performance boost. It's just got more shaders unlocked. I didn't really care for it. So what I found a solution to my problem is what you would usually, well, that's the first one, but I got tired of it. I would go into the Catalyst Control Center and speed up the fan every time I'm going to play a game, no matter what game it is. I I put it on to 70%, so it keeps it really cool. I found a way to not temporarily fix it, and it's still going so far, but I went to BIOS number 2 and I got the original BIOS that wasn't untouched. There's nothing configured about it. So I grabbed it, I downloaded it to my computer, and I switched over to BIOS 1, and then I reflashed it using a custom BIOS that I made. Not made personally, like coding and all that, just, you know, I customized it with using I can't remember what software it is, but ATI WinFlash is basically you can get your BIOS and flash your BIOS with that. I can't remember what the other program is called, but basically you can just configure everything. Even you can configure it to like, say you want it to be 1 gigahertz edition and you have a really good cooler that can cool it down really well. You can make it to stock 1 gigahertz. You don't ever have to overclock it. It's naturally overclocked, or naturally clocked, so you don't ever overclock it from inside. It's overclocked from inside the BIOS. That's how they come out with super overclocked graphics cards and processors and stuff like that. Yeah, so right now I messed with the BIOS and I told the BIOS to tell the fan when it gets at 70 Celsius, the fan will speed up to 100% to cool it down really fast. That's how I have it. I'm still a noob on this, on the BIOS configuration. There's other options, but I just wanted it to fix this fan issue, since it doesn't want to speed up by itself when it needed to. There's nothing wrong with the card. I looked at it, looked at the caps, everything on the board. It seems fine. I just don't know what's going on. I guess it's a driver issue. I don't know. But as long as it speeds up, it's fine. My graphics card is going to be working for the longest time. I can also replace it, but I'm not going to replace it since I don't have the frog skin for it. So, yeah, so let's move on. Actually, I'm going to tell you about the thermaltake. I got the tuniq thermaltake. I believe it's tuniq 3. Or 4. Well, it's the latest one. It's not the really bad stuff. The ones that people keep talking about that they have bad reviews on it. So yeah. Okay, enough about the graphics card. This is my Kingwin 1000 watt power supply, and maximum is 1050 watts. As you can see right here, it just tells you the DC output. Yeah, you can't really see it, but oh well. Let's look at the board. So the board, let's change it to the light. Okay, right there. Let's see if you can zoom in. Slowly zoom in. You can't see it well. Let's go back out. But that first button right there that you see right here, that button is an overclock genie, the 1 second overclock genie. So when you enable this and you install the software inside your operating system, this will be enabled. They'll basically, when you push that, or when you install the operating system and you turn it off, and then you push the 1 second overclock genie, everything will be overclocked in 1 second, because the motherboard already has profiles specifically for whatever you have in there. So it automatically overclocks it to the maximum point where you can go, that the profile can, whatever the profiles have been set by the manufacturers. And then the second one is a reset button, so you would just want to reset your computer, you can do that, or you can power it on from this one. Over there you've got your auxiliary. It could be from like Firewire, or actually that's for Firewire. Yes, all right, that's for Firewire. The one on the left side, that black one, the little tiny one on the blue, next to the blue one, is for it's for audio, like DVD players from back in the days and stuff like that, for IDE players. Yeah, so then you got your blue slot right there, which is your PCI Express 2.0 x 16. It's not a 2.1 or a 3.0 motherboard. I'm not too psyched about those graphics cards that are 3.0 or 2.1, because it doesn't make a difference. I've read so many reviews and stuff like that. It doesn't make a difference whether you guys want to believe it or not. Over here I got all my cables for my SATA ports connected to my drives, and my hard drives, and my solid state drives, and my Blu-ray drives, all that. And over here I got my memory, my Oops, I gotta turn the other way, otherwise the video's gonna look weird. I got right here is 2468 memory RAM memory cards, memory sticks. It's Patriot memory sector 5G series. I normally got it as a 4 gig kit, but I installed 2 more because I just wanted 8 gigs total. And now that the technology is changing, I need at least 16 gigs at most because everything is demanding for memory. Yeah. Some of you are going to say that you don't need that much. 4 gigs is, that's all you need. But no, I usually convert videos and stuff like that. And for Fraps, it takes a lot of resources for Fraps. I'm glad right now Fraps doesn't have that stupid setting where when you're in recording and it records in bits and pieces like 3.92 gigabytes, it will split the file and you got like 3 minutes or 2 minutes worth. No, Fraps now actually records what you're actually recording all the way. It doesn't stop until you actually push the stop button for recording. That's pretty cool. I like that and I use that, but for some reason I cannot use Fraps on this computer, and for some reason I don't know what's going on. I don't know why it's doing it, but Fraps doesn't work well on the new processor. It doesn't work well on the new processor. I don't know why. When I hit record button on Fraps, my frames per second goes to 12 every single freaking time. I don't know why. It's extremely irritating me. Ever since I got this processor, I had, of course, multiple problems, but I had to adjust the voltage and stuff like that. I never touched the North Bridge. If anyone has the 4170 FX processor, let me know what settings you have it at. If you have the same rig as I do, except graphics card and whatnot, and cooling and power supply, and you're working with Fraps and it works beautifully, just let me know what settings you got. Did you overclock your North Bridge for your processor? Please tell me so I can get it going, because I'm not much of an overclocking person. I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to overclocking, but I do know how to read online, but there's not very many people that do that. And if you guys could let me know what your information is, that'd be great. That helps me. It helps me gain more knowledge. I can help people in the future. Yeah, so let's go down to my back to my power supply. My power supply has, I'm sorry if I got too close. My power supply has connection where you can just take them off and put them back on. It's kind of difficult in this case because since the wires are connected right here, I'll show you an example. And that's what it looks like when you take it off. It's pretty cool. I like it. I would rather have the one that was magnets. Because you just connect them on there and it's pretty slick. But I like this power supply. It gives me what I need. Maybe I need a bigger one for that freaking power hog, but I don't know. Right here you got your solid state drives. It's an OCC Agility 3. My max read speed is 620. And no, my max, it's 520 for read speed, and write speed is 490. So I'm getting full speed 6 gigabit connection. Or gigabytes per second. So it's pretty cool. I forgot to show you my RAID card down here. I rather have my RAID card using this because it's 100% pure 6 gigabytes per second. That's what it is. Instead of having to deal with the board itself and the processor, this deals with its own processing. The processor doesn't, it does some of the work, but this does everything normally. This is meant for actual RAID. This is its own controller and its own everything. This is perfect for what you want to RAID. It's high point 620. It's not Rocket RAID. It's just RAID. Just RAID. There's two types of 620 cards. This is the RAID, and then there's a Rocket RAID. Rocket RAID requires drivers for it, and this one doesn't. You just throw it in there, change it to the there's one RAID and there's the other one. I have to change my chipset to the other one, not RAID. Otherwise, it's not going to work. This is a complicated card, but it does what I want it to do. It's extremely fast, and it was cheap. It's $20 on Newegg. Yeah, I already reviewed my... no, I didn't. They're both in RAID 0. freaking fast. They're 60 gigs each, so total 120. I love these solid state drives, and I'll never have a problem with them. Never in my life. I don't even have to upgrade their firmware because they're just perfect the way they are. I could if I wanted to, but I don't have any problems. So don't fix something that is not broken, as the saying goes. Right here I don't normally use it, but it was no one was going to use it, so I decided to use it myself. It was from my friend. He was going to donate it to someone, and it was just sitting there for years, and I'm afraid that someone's going to steal it. So you know what? I'm just going to grab it because it's a terabyte drive, so whatever. It's a Seagate terabyte drive. I don't like Seagate. I just never did because I've always had problems. These two right here is 280 gig hard drives for my gaming, and I do it for gaming only. They're by Western Digital. This one up here is 1.5 terabyte hard drive. So 1.5 Western Digital, Seagate 1 terabyte, and these two are 80 gigs. They're not in their sleeves. They're hard drive sleeves because I cannot find the little connections that go on the side. They're like rubber connections that keep the hard drive from coming out. It's not screws. You don't need screws anymore for this case. Otherwise, it would be like one up right here. So, yeah. And then back here is my drives, which I don't. This is the Blu-ray, and this is the drive that I don't use. Up here is my 200 millimeters. You can see they're freaking dirty. Back here you got your 120. You got all that stuff. You got the wire that goes in the back where the 6-pin connector for the motherboard and the voltage. Yeah, I believe that's about it. Oh, and another thing, it's not really important, but these cases are so freaking awesome that you can take these covers off right here easily to come off. But since I do have a tripod, but I don't know where it's at. So see, there you go. It came off really easy. See, so it looks like, and it's so dirty down here. Wow. Yeah. So look at that. So I have all my fans connected directly to it, except one of them. I can't remember what it was, but I have it connected directly, so they can get all the power that they need. Yeah. So and then their front panel comes off too. The front panel comes off it's the exact same way, and this one comes off easier than the top does. See, and you got your 140 millimeter fan down there. It's dirty. You can see all that freaking human skin flying around. Yes, dust is actual human skin, whether you believe it or not. Yeah. So here you got your they're like for screws, but except you could just mount them easily. So so when you want to mount something in there, you put your drive in there, and then they're automatically locked like this. So you would switch it over, and then it unlocks it. And when you put your drive in there, you slide it in there to where the holes are at, and you close it, and you switch it, and it locks it in place, so that it won't come out anymore. That's what every single one of these are like that. And these are different. These have like rubber stops on it. I would take one out, but I don't feel like taking it out. But basically what it is, like, let's just this hole right here, for example. There's another hole next to it. So let's just say the other hole is smaller than this one. So the big hole, the rubber stop goes in there. The rubber stop has metal in it, so the metal goes inside the hole of the hard drive. So when you put it inside the hole of the hard drive, you slide the hard drive over just a little bit, and it snaps into place into the smaller hole, and it keeps the hard drive from coming out. It also does have screws on the bottom of the plates, like down here somewhere, like one right here, over here, and on the back, and it does have it for solid state drive. You could do that optionally to keep it there from not moving or whatever. Those stops are they suck, but you gotta actually know how to put them in correctly. You put them in there correctly, they are not gonna come out for nothing. They won't come out at all. But if you guys want to stick with screws, then stick with screws. But this case is basically almost a screwless computer. I mean, over here you got your, these screws. You can always untwist them to get rid of them, but you can always tighten them down if you wanted to for extra protection. So yeah, yeah, guys, that's pretty much about everything. I love this case. You can hide your wires correctly. Oh, right here, I had some This is a converter from DC to AC or something like that. I can't remember correctly. It's a power connection for cathodes. I had cathodes in here, so I can turn on the computer and with the light. And right here, these two white these white things right here are two-way tape. The ones that they provided me from eBay, the company from Japan or whatever. It sucks. They wouldn't stick on. And I had some down here. And let's see if I can see it. Right there. There's one right here. There's one right there. I had one down there so I can provide light here and provide light over here. So whenever I go inside the case, I can see what I'm doing instead of having to bring a flashlight or anything. That would just power everything up. These things are pretty decent in brightness, but they're not bright, very bright. Total was $20 for that. So this computer is basically a $2,800 rig. In time, I've put it together, and right now it's probably worth at least $1,000. Yeah, I'm trying to get rid of it for at least $1,500. Whatever I can get for it. Not under 1,000 or 1,300. At least 1,500. If I can get more than that, that'd be great. I need to get rid of it so I can get things done. So yeah, guys, this is pretty much about everything. If I missed something out, oh, one more thing down here, you can add another power supply as well down here. So you can add actually 3 power supplies. You can remove this part right here if you wanted to. You can remove this whole thing. You just gotta take out the rivets, but it's basically meant for you can either have a fan down here cooling more of the computer or a power supply. You can have another fan or a power supply down here. This case, you can do a lot of stuff to it. This is a really great case. If you guys don't like big cases, then don't get this case. But I recommend it if you guys want to become really good gamers and you want to have a lot of cooling, a lot of extra room. You can see this thing has a huge amount of room. Look at that. Look at that gap. And it's still able to fit this massive heatsink. Look at that. It's huge. That's what she said. Yeah, so you got a lot of space. I had a H70 on here, but at one point it's like the H70 is crap compared to this thing. The Noctua beat it, but when I heard about this, I was like, oh, I'm getting this. This thing is gonna be great. So yeah, my processor for the 4170, it's I know you won't believe me, but there's a thread that I've been complaining or arguing these people with. I'm not going to mention who they are, because I don't think they want to be mentioned, but they said that it's not possible to get that cold, because they were saying that my processor was at sub-zero temperatures, 0 degrees. Right now it'd probably be about 18 Celsius using Speccy CPU.